Her question hung in the air between them, innocent yet loaded with possibility. When he whispered his answer, neither of them realized how those simple words would change everything. If you've ever believed in second chances at love, this story might just restore your faith. Like, subscribe, and join me on this journey of unexpected connection that proves it's never too late to find your person. Mark Collins hadn't planned on falling in love that Tuesday afternoon. The 38-year-old, single father, had simply been trying to navigate the chaotic school pickup line while juggling a conference call that had run 15 minutes over schedule. His 7-year-old daughter Emma was the last child waiting on the bench outside Oak Ridge Elementary, her small shoulders hunched as she clutched her backpack to her chest. "I'm so sorry, sweetheart," Mark said, kneeling down beside her after hastily parking his sedan. Mr. Peterson wouldn't stop talking about quarterly projections. Emma's face brightened instantly. "It's okay, Daddy. Ms. Winters stayed with me." That was when Mark noticed the young woman standing a few feet away, her chestnut hair catching the afternoon sunlight. She wore a simple blue dress and a warm smile that reached all the way to her eyes. "You must be Emma's father," she said, extending her hand. "I'm Olivia Winters, the new third-grade teacher." Mark felt something stir inside him as their hands touched, a sensation he hadn't experienced in years. "Mark Collins, thank you for looking after her." "It was my pleasure. Emma's been telling me all about the constellations you showed her last weekend." Emma tugged at his sleeve. "Miss Winters knows all about stars too, Daddy. Even more than you." Olivia laughed, the sound musical and genuine. "I wouldn't say that. I just have a minor in astronomy that I never get to use." "Except with overly enthusiastic 7-year-olds?" Mark asked, finding himself smiling more easily than he had in months. "They're the best audience," Olivia replied. There was a moment of silence between them, comfortable yet charged with something unnameable. Emma looked between them with the perceptiveness that children sometimes possess. "Miss Winters doesn't have anyone to eat dinner with tonight," she told Mrs. Garcia. Mark felt his cheeks flush as Olivia's eyes widened slightly. "Emma," he began, but Olivia waved her hand dismissively. "It's true. My exciting Tuesday plans involve takeout and grading papers." Before Mark could think better of it, he heard himself say, "We're just having spaghetti, but you're welcome to join us, as a thank you for staying with Emma." The words surprised him as much as they seemed to surprise Olivia. Since losing his wife to cancer 3 years ago, Mark had kept his world small: work, Emma, and the occasional dinner with his parents or in-laws. He hadn't invited anyone new into their space. Olivia hesitated, tucking a strand of hair behind her ear. "I wouldn't want to impose. Please come." Emma bounced on her toes. "Daddy makes the best garlic bread in the whole world." "Well, with an endorsement like that, how can I refuse?" Olivia smiled, and something in Mark's chest loosened, as if a knot he hadn't known was there had begun to unravel. That evening changed everything. Dinner stretched into dessert, then into board games with Emma, and finally into quiet conversation after Emma had gone to bed. Mark found himself telling Olivia things he hadn't spoken aloud in years, about his late wife Claire, about the challenges of raising Emma alone, about the career in architecture he'd scaled back to be more present for his daughter. Olivia listened with genuine interest, sharing her own story of moving to their small town after ending a long-term relationship with a man who couldn't commit. There was no awkwardness between them, just the easy flow of two people discovering unexpected common ground. As she prepared to leave, standing in his doorway with her purse slung over her shoulder, Olivia tilted her head slightly. "Can I ask you something personal, Mark?" He nodded, suddenly nervous. She smiled and asked, "Are you married? I mean," she flushed, "I know about Claire, but I wasn't sure if there was someone else now." Mark felt his heart quicken. He hadn't been asked that question in a long time. Most people in town knew his story. "No," he whispered, surprising himself with his honesty. "I'm still waiting for the right one." The moment the words left his lips, he realized how true they were. He hadn't been waiting, not consciously. He'd been surviving, focusing on Emma, putting one foot in front of the other. But some part of him had been waiting all along. Olivia's eyes softened. "That's a beautiful way to think about it." After she left, Mark stood in his quiet house, feeling as though something fundamental had shifted. He didn't know what would happen next, but for the first time in 3 years he was curious to find out. The next few weeks brought a gentle dance of casual encounters. Olivia would stay a few minutes longer when Mark picked up Emma asking about his day. Mark found reasons to volunteer for school events where he knew Olivia would be present. They exchanged phone numbers in case Emma ever needed anything, though both knew it was a transparent excuse. Their first official date happened almost by accident. Emma was spending the weekend with her grandparents, and Mark mentioned to Olivia that he planned to visit the new exhibit at the Natural History Museum. The one about celestial navigation? Olivia's eyes lit up. I've been wanting to see that. Would you like to come with me? The words came easily this time, without the nervous hesitation of before. The museum date led to lunch, which extended into a walk through the botanical gardens, and finally dinner at a small Italian restaurant where they talked until the staff began stacking chairs around them. When Mark drove Olivia home, they sat in his car for nearly an hour, continuing their conversation as if they couldn't bear to let the day end. I haven't enjoyed myself this much in years, Mark admitted as he walked her to her door. Neither have I, Olivia replied softly. When she kissed him goodnight, it felt both surprising and inevitable, like the final piece of a puzzle clicking into place. But their budding relationship wasn't without complications. Emma, initially excited about spending time with her favorite teacher, began to show signs of confusion and jealousy as Olivia's presence in their lives increased. "Why does Miss Winters have to come to our movie night?" she demanded one Friday evening, arms crossed tightly over her chest. Mark sat beside her on the bed, heart heavy. "I thought you liked spending time with Miss Winters." "I do at school," Emma emphasized. "But at home, you're supposed to be my daddy." The fear behind her words was clear. She was afraid of losing her place, of being replaced, of another change in a life that had already seen too much upheaval. Mark pulled her into a hug. "Emma, no one could ever change the fact that I'm your daddy. Not ever." "Mommy left," Emma whispered against his shirt. The words pierced Mark's heart. "Mommy didn't want to leave us, sweetheart. She was very sick, remember? She would have stayed with us forever if she could have. But what if Miss Winters leaves too? Or what if she makes you forget about Mommy?" Mark gently tilted Emma's chin up. "No one could ever make me forget your mother. She gave me you, the best gift in the whole world. And I don't know what will happen with Miss Winters, but I do know that having her in our lives doesn't mean there's less love for you. Love doesn't work that way. It grows to make room for more people." Emma considered this, her small brow furrowed in concentration. "Like when I got Sparkles?" she asked, referring to the kitten they'd adopted the previous year. "I didn't love you less. I just had new love for her too." "Exactly like that," Mark said, relieved at her understanding. The conversation marked a turning point, though not an immediate resolution. Mark and Olivia slowed down, being more intentional about including Emma in their activities and giving her space when she needed it. Olivia suggested they have Emma days where the focus was entirely on father-daughter time, showing Emma that she respected their bond. Gradually, Emma's resistance softened. The breakthrough came unexpectedly when Olivia arrived for dinner one evening with a telescope she'd borrowed from the school. "I thought we could set it up in the backyard," she explained to Emma. "There's supposed to be a meteor shower tonight." Emma's eyes widened. "Really? Can we stay up late to see it, Daddy?" The three of them spent hours in the backyard, huddled under blankets as Olivia pointed out constellations and Mark made hot chocolate. When Emma fell asleep between them on the patio lounger, her small hand clutching Olivia's sleeve, Mark felt a profound sense of rightness wash over him. "Thank you," he whispered to Olivia over Emma's sleeping form, "for being so patient with her, with us." Olivia's eyes shimmered in the starlight. "She's an amazing little girl, and you're an incredible father. How could I not be patient with something so important?" As months passed, their relationship deepened. Olivia became a steady presence in their lives, joining them for weekend outings, helping Emma with school projects, and bringing a lightness to their home that had been missing for too long. Mark found himself falling in love with her thoughtfulness, her intelligence, and the way she could make both him and Emma laugh until their sides hurt. There were challenges beyond Emma's initial adjustment. Olivia's parents worried she was taking on too much responsibility with a ready-made family. Mark sometimes felt guilty, wondering if he was being fair to Olivia by bringing her into a situation with so much emotional complexity. And there were moments when grief would ambush him unexpectedly, leaving him quiet and withdrawn. But through it all, they talked. They gave each other space when needed and support when asked for. They built something that felt both solid and flexible, capable of weathering the inevitable storms of life. On the one-year anniversary of their first dinner together, Mark took Olivia back to the same Italian restaurant. Emma was spending the night with her grandparents, who had come to adore Olivia almost as much as Mark did. "I have something for you," Mark said after they'd ordered dessert. He slid a small box across the table. Olivia looked at him questioningly. "Mark?" "It's not what you think," he said with a smile. "Open it." Inside was a key on a star-shaped keychain. "A key to our home," Mark explained. "I know we've talked about moving in together someday, and I'm not rushing that. But I wanted you to know that our door is always open to you, whenever you're ready." Olivia's eyes filled with tears. "It's perfect," she whispered, clutching the key. "Actually, I have something for you too." She reached into her purse and pulled out an envelope, sliding it across to him. Inside was a brochure for a family astronomy camp in the mountains. "I thought the three of us could go this summer," she said. "They have programs for kids and adults, and we could see the stars without all the city lights." Mark felt his throat tighten with emotion. It wasn't just the thoughtfulness of the gift, it was the way she'd said the three of us, the way she included Emma so naturally in their future plans. "I love you," he said, the words coming easily now, after months of feeling them grow inside him, "both for who you are and for how you love Emma." "I love you too," Olivia replied, "and I love the family we're becoming." 6 months later, Olivia moved into their home. The transition wasn't without its bumps. Merging two households never is. But the foundation they'd built made even the challenges feel manageable. Emma helped Olivia decorate her home office, proudly showing her where to put her star books and insisting they needed to paint one wall sky blue. On a crisp autumn evening, as they sat on the porch swing watching Emma chase fireflies in the yard, Mark turned to Olivia. "Do you remember that first night, when you asked if I was married?" Olivia laughed softly. "I was so embarrassed after I said it. It was such an awkward way to ask if you were single. I told you I was waiting for the right one," Mark continued, taking her hand. "I didn't know then that I'd already found her." He slid off the swing onto one knee, pulling a small velvet box from his pocket. Emma, who had been secretly practicing for this moment for weeks, ran to stand beside him, her face split in a wide grin. "Olivia Winters," Mark said, his voice steady despite the pounding of his heart. "Emma and I were wondering if you would do us the honor of becoming a permanent part of our family." Emma bounced on her toes. "Will you be my stepmom? Please say yes." Olivia looked between them, tears streaming down her face. "Yes," she whispered. "Yes to both of you." As he slipped the ring onto her finger, a sapphire surrounded by tiny diamonds like stars, Mark felt the circle of their family completing itself, not replacing what was lost, but creating something new and beautiful from the pieces that remained. Their wedding was a small affair in the backyard of the home they now shared. Emma served as both flower girl and best daughter, proudly walking down the aisle ahead of Olivia. During the ceremony, they included a special moment to honor Claire's memory, lighting a candle that burned brightly throughout the celebration. "She brought us together," Mark had explained to Olivia when planning this tribute. "Without her, there would be no Emma. And without Emma, I might never have met you." Olivia had squeezed his hand in understanding. "She'll always be part of our family story." As they exchanged vows under an arbor woven with fairy lights like stars, Mark looked at the two faces he loved most in the world. He thought about the winding path that had led him here, through grief and loneliness to this unexpected joy. Life would continue to bring challenges. There would be difficult days and misunderstandings, moments of doubt and periods of struggle. But standing there with Olivia's hands in his and Emma beaming beside them, Mark knew with absolute certainty that they would face whatever came together. Sometimes the right one comes when you least expect it, in a school pickup line on an ordinary Tuesday afternoon. Sometimes waiting isn't about passive expectation, but about keeping your heart open to possibilities. And sometimes, the family you build after loss is just as beautiful as the one you had before. Different, but no less precious. As Mark and Olivia sealed their vows with a kiss, Emma threw her arms around both of them, creating a circle of embrace that contained their past, present, and future, a constellation of their own making, bright against the darkness of the universe. If this story touched your heart, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more stories that remind us of the power of second chances and the unexpected ways love finds us. Remember that even in our darkest moments, new beginnings are possible. Sometimes they're just waiting for us to be ready.